Hey guys, and welcome back to Shredcraft RC. I'm Cam, and today we're going to go back over stage 3 of the SCX24 Lexus GX470 build. If you watched the last video, you'd seen that I developed and had some titanium chassis rails made, and now I'm on to version 3 here. So this chassis rail features integrated electronics tray and integrated battery tray, making it a nice compact whole unit. And plus, who doesn't love titanium? If we open up the Lexus here, you can see I have everything laid out. It's not the cleanest wiring, but I think it looks pretty nice, and everything's kind of nice and compact. What we're going to do today is go over the parts I have installed and then check out the weights and figure out all the facts and data to see if we actually increased performance with all the stuff we added to this chassis. Taking a look on the inside here, we have the Hovo 2S LiPo batteries. We have the Injora MB100 brushed ESC paired with the Injora 50 turn motor and helical cut transmission. Now on top of that, I have the AGF RC micro servo, the Injora 40mm shocks, front and rear. These are oil filled shocks. They are super smooth, highly recommended. And then I have my FlySky Noble receiver here. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Part of the point of this whole build with the SCX24 Lexus here. Didn't want to go over the top and spend hundreds of dollars. So again, I'm going to have all the links for all this stuff down in the description below. That way you guys can pick up any of the stuff I have on this build and follow along with it. I also found these pretty cool wheels, and I'll have to look the brand name up and I'll put it here at the bottom of the screen. But these are kind of a replica of a Volk TE37. Clean, simple, 6-spoke design, giving this truck almost an OEM plus appearance. Let's get this sucker on the scales and see what our weight balances look like with all these additional parts. Quarter balance scales are loaded up, and what I'm going to do on this is actually put a screen capture onto the screen here. You guys can actually see what the facts and figures are. Get this oriented in the right direction. There's a battery in the truck, and we've added a significant amount of parts, which should add some weight to the chassis. I'll throw that screen capture up, but right now we're at 56% front weight and 44% rear weight, with a total weight of 436 grams, 435.8. So we've picked up a significant amount, nearly 100 grams, with the addition of the aftermarket wheels and tires. So the next step to figure out if all these mods really work is to get it out on the rocks. And unfortunately, it's another snowy day here in Colorado. So we're gonna have to wait till that stuff melts, and then we'll get this SCX24 out on the rocks, just like the last video. But something that always happens when you're building these tiny SCX24s is that you always have all the stock parts left over and a bunch of extra stuff. So picked up the Injora bug and actually had my wife paint this herself. So I just kind of guided her with instructions on how to use the airbrush. She picked out the color and painted this all herself. And the funny story behind wanting to pick out the Injora bug is that when she was a child, her Barbie car was actually the yellow Beetle. She saw the bug body and picked that one out, and now I'm trying to brain up a solution to integrate the roll cage and not have the body sit so high. Because of where this rear bumper mounts onto this chassis, the whole thing sits a little too high for my taste or my liking, unless you're running a 65mm to the 70mm tire. All of these are the stock Lexus parts on here. So if I actually remove the cage and then just set the body on, you can see it looks a little more proportional. So I think I'm going to figure out a way to get some magnets mounted up. So I also have some longer links coming that will help push this front axle a little more forward and help even out the spacing in between the wheel wells there. It's not a bad looking pair there, kind of scale proportional, having it a little lower compared to the lifted OEM plus Lexus here. That's what is fun about these little things, is you get to play with them while the weather's bad outside, fool around with them, mess with them on some rocks here in the house, and who knows, maybe we'll make a crawler course for these things in the future. And here are both the chassis side by side, version 1 and version 3. I'm calling it version 3 only because this one has already had a couple different iterations, and I'll switch to the laptop here and show you a couple of the design changes I'm making and a few tweaks I'm making to better address some of the clearances on the rear uprights here of this chassis. And this one actually worked out pretty good, but I did put the flat skid into this chassis. So all the link mounting points are going to the same axis, and I'll rectify that with a new Injora aluminum center skid. And again, all the links for both these trucks, body, all that stuff will be down in the description below. So don't forget to check it out if you want to build one of these yourself. So here's the past 3 designs with a 4th, creating this one to have no factory bumper mounts. I've seen a bunch of designs in similar layouts where it ends at the shock towers, creating an ultralight line slayer-esque chassis. And this one I built at 7.5 degrees for the angled skid. It's also not something I'm totally pursuing in order to sell them. These are more just experiments. And then this would be version 2 of what I was just showing you. This is the previous version above, and that was my first version here. So it might be hard to tell, but I'm adding the upper link mounts just to have an option there for the upper links, and then refining the shock placement to have a couple more options, and possibly extending this out to have body mounts as well, changing the angle of this rear upright to allow for that motor to fit in there a little better without having to modify the chassis rails or the motor itself. But again, before I finalize this, I'm going to test with the aluminum skid plate just to make sure all my measurements are accurate, and then I'll do an announcement if I have these available for purchase in the future. So again, I just want to say thank you guys for stopping by and checking out this sweet SCX24 video and some of my chassis designs. Be sure to stay tuned when I'll give you guys some updates when I have these little titanium chassis available for you guys to purchase. Be sure to click those links down below in the description, pick up some of your own parts, and start modifying your sweet scale trail rig. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next video. See ya. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button if you like what you see. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome RC content from Shredcraft RC. I'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya.
Turned off. Oop. Did the display screen turn off on purpose?
Yeah, it will do it after a minute. We got it?
I think so. Yeah, I got her.